How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Black Metal Rebellion. I'm your host, Jesse Morgan, aka Slammerella, and it's been a bit. I've been busy as heck for the holiday season, going here, going there, planning family get-togethers and going way up east in Ontario here to go hang out with my cousins and aunts and uncles. Really great time, had fun up there. And now this room is slowly but surely being buried in Christmas presents for the kids and family members and stuff too. So this might be the last video we have on here until after all the clutter is done, because my entire bed and in front of it is covered in all of the presents that were stacked up to about here. So I don't want to do that again. I definitely don't feel like it. So you might have to wait until a metal collection update video or a Christmas haul or whatever we plan on doing next on here. I'm probably not going to do the next horror movie collection update until January. So if you're looking for more horror, it's going to wait just a tiny bit. All right. So yeah. So today, as you saw with the funny thumbnail, we got a tasty punk collection update to do. This is the rest of the punk CDs and albums and whatnot that I've picked up over the last couple of weeks, maybe a month or more after the last one that you saw. This is finishing up the last bit of it because I kind of went crazy with punk stuff during the fall and just the summer a bit too. So yeah, anywho, that being said, let's jump into the first one, and that is a album by Conflict. Wow, that glare is insane. All right, so there we go, Conflict. If you don't know who they are an anarcho kind of sort of street punk band from London, England. They started in 1981, and they have 7 other albums besides this. This one's called Against All Odds. Probably should have mentioned that earlier. And they also have 10 EPs. So if you like this for whatever reason, then they also have that. This one's from 1989 and is their 6th album. I also have their first album on vinyl that I got from Iparano Records. Thanks again, George, for that. Haven't heard from you in a bit. Hope you're doing okay. So yeah, this one is not what I would say a typical album from Conflict. It has a slightly different sound, and they kind of went more experimental, and some of the songs are like really long and not super fast-paced punk or kind of quick-paced anarcho punk. It's more like experimental art punk with some anarcho and street elements thrown in. This is probably not where you should start off with them. I would definitely start off with their first album. That one's really good, or maybe their second one. Well, it's nice to have it in the collection just for collection's sake. All right, moving on to another band that I kind of was obsessed with for a bit, and I got a few of these, so bear with me. The next are a few albums by Charged GBH. Charged GBH are a street punk band from Birmingham, England, so the same place as Black Sabbath. They started in 1978, and they have 10 other albums and 8 EPs besides the stuff I'm about to show, including this. This is Leather Bristles, Studs and Acne from 1981. This is kind of like their debut mini LP EP thing, and this was their kind of definitive sound for a while, up until I think maybe the album just after Baby City's Revenge, and then they kind of started doing some weirder stuff, which we'll talk about in a second. This also includes like an EP on it. All right, so check this out. It has the GBH No Survivors EP as bonus tracks on it, because this is actually only an 8-track mini LP, but tracks 10 through 15 is the bonus EP stuff on here. Yeah, it's got their debut EP mini album plus a bonus EP on here, which is nice. I was really into this back in the day. I'm not really so much into GBH anymore, but if I ever do kind of get another hankering for some Charged GBH, I'm glad I have these in my collection to at least reach for and check out. But this is their first mini album / EP, Leather Bristles, Studs and Acne. The next one is where they start going a little weird after their third album, I believe. This one is No Need to Panic. The vocals on this are a little reverbed and echoey and sounds like they're in like this really badly insulated recording chamber. I don't know what happened with this, but yeah, the vocals on this weren't the greatest. There's the inside there. I'm not sure if I showed the back, so let's do that as well. There's the back. So yeah, I feel like this is probably not one of their more popular albums, and it's got the What a Bargain EP attached to it at the bottom there. So that's cool. It has some extra material. That extra material is probably better than some of the stuff that's actually on the album, if I remember correctly. But again, street punk from the early 80s, really neat stuff. This one specifically is from 1987 and is their fourth album. But I don't know, I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't start off there. I don't even know where I'd tell you to start off. Probably either Leather Bristles, Studs, and Acne, or their first album, City Baby Attacked by Rats. But good to have, again, if I ever decide to get back into charged GBH. And the last one that I picked up recently from them is their brand new album, called Momentum. Before this was Perfume and Piss. I might pick that up whenever I get back into street punk again. Right now I'm into something else, which we'll talk about in the new year, and you'll probably be shocked. But yeah, this is their 12th album from 2017, so it's fairly recent. And as you can imagine, the band members in here are pretty fucking old, so it's very interesting to hear their vocals now as opposed to back in, you know, 1978, 79, 1980. It has some okay tracks for their age, for the project, for the style. It's not prime GBH by any means. I probably enjoyed Ha 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 maybe the best out of a lot of their stuff, or that Fridge album, A Fridge Too Far, or whatever it's called. Maybe Perfume and Piss would probably be better than this one. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it again, but honestly, it's not terrible if you are into this kind of music, but it's not, again, where I'd start with these guys at all. I know bands are always like, pick up the new album, pick up the new album. Don't worry about going back and picking up our first, because we already sold it and you're probably picking up a used copy anyways. We need the money, so pick up the new album. But honestly, I don't know. I wouldn't start here. It's just good to have in the collection if you're really avid about having a lot of this band. And I was at the time, so I got it. But yeah, GBH's most recent album, Momentum, from 2017. Okay street punk from Birmingham, England. All right, the next thing is not amazing, not really great. I was kind of obsessed with Minor Threat, so I looked into it and I picked up a copy from Discogs. This is the Teen Idols. This is the anniversary EP from 1996. These guys are hardcore punk from Washington, D.C. It has members that eventually became Minor Threat. This is kind of like a before band, a prequel band. And those are the tracks that's on it. Adventure, Teen Idols, Sneakers, Trans Am, Ferrucci Nightmare, and Getting in My Way. Yeah, so it's got Nathan Strejek on vocals, Jordy Grindle on guitar, Ian McKay on bass, who we all know is in Minor Threat, and Jeff Nelson on drums. I'm not sure which other members on this also became Minor Threat, because all I know about is Ian McKay, because he's in a lot of shit. But yeah, this was their 100th release on Discord Records. So that's kind of cool. And they kind of put this out in retrospect. As you can see there, I guess on your right, is the 100 records they've produced through that. Pretty wild. I could only imagine having a label that's released 100 releases. I'll show you the CD, but yeah, that's crazy. All right, so here's what the CD looks like. I don't know if I can get a better picture. There we go. It's hard to make out there. I'm pretty sure it's Ian McKay on bass, and maybe the singer of the band, or maybe the drummer on the right side there. But yeah, it's just like a 5 or 6 track little EP that's kind of dedicated to their old stuff. They started in 1979 for this project, and they have, besides this, one other EP. It's called Minor Disturbance, that also came out in 1980. So yeah, if you're just kind of like a huge early hardcore punk fan and liked Minor Threat or Gorilla Biscuits or anything like that, then this will probably be up your alley, as well as the next band. But yeah, I thought it was fun to pick this up. I want to get a copy of Minor Disturbance if I can somewhere, hopefully on CD, not on vinyl, because I don't really have time to bust out my small little vinyl player and play it. I'd rather just throw it on the CD player or rip it onto my phone so I can play it on the audio jack in my car maybe. But yeah, nothing super crazy or like really good, but for nostalgia and for like super hardcore punk fans, definitely check out the Teen Idols and see if you can get a copy of their anniversary EP from 1996. A neat little nostalgic piece from Dischord Records as their 100th release. Alright, moving on to some more Dischord Records stuff, and a band that's was better in their early years, and then they got kind of experimental. But what I'm talking about is Fugazi. Fugazi, pretty much the best stuff is right here in their 13 songs double EP compilation from 1989. This pretty much takes their first two EPs and puts all the material on one release. And I enjoy this stuff the most. I'm probably going to have to go and pick up Repeater at some point, because I don't have that one. But it was nice to finally get a copy of this, at least. I really recommend it if you're into 80s hardcore punk. If you're into that, you probably already heard this anyways. But yeah, if you don't know Fugazi, again, hardcore and sometimes art punk band from 1986 that started up in Washington, D.C., just like Minor Threat and Teen Idols. And besides what I'm about to show, they also have 5 other albums and 2 EPs post this. But the 13 songs double EP compilation is fantastic. Definitely recommend it, from 1989. Alright, the next is where they start getting more into kind of the artsy fartsy side. This is their 3rd album, In on the Kill Taker. And you can, where is it? Yeah, you can kind of see it over here where it says In on the Kill Taker. And apparently they got the song title from a crumpled up piece of kind of propaganda paper on the ground, and they thought that was a neat title. There's the inside here. And again, 3rd album from 1993. I just showed the front. Here's the back, which I was trying to show. Nothing crazy, just a bunch of the stuff written down and tracks and lyrics. Not their best stuff, but apparently the people that like this really like this style of Fugazi. I guess you have to be into a certain type of punk or a certain type of music to get it, but I can see why they like it. It's not the usual fast, high-paced, high-energy, going crazy type of hardcore punk from the 80s. It's more like something to say. It's more like an intellectual type of hardcore punk, as opposed to the modern stuff we have today, where it's all just like chest beating clone bullshit. Everyone sounds the same, and that's weird. Modern hardcore nowadays basically just sounds like deathcore without the solos and super crazy progressive breakdowns. So yeah, I don't know what modern hardcore is today, but it's not this stuff anymore. I prefer this stuff and the Germs and Gorilla Biscuits and shit. But yeah, if you're really into art punk or progressive experimental punk, Fugazi starts going there with In on the Kill Taker. Again, I'm going to pick up Repeater at some point. Maybe the Red Machine or whatever it's called. Maybe this album here. And that's probably about it. I don't think I'm going to get any of their modern stuff, unless someone in the comments section can convince me otherwise. But yeah, that's In on the Kill Taker from 1993. The last of the Fugazi I've picked up recently. Moving on is something that every punk's got to have in their collection, and it took me way too long to get this. Discharge with Hear Nothing, See Nothing, Say Nothing. Their first album from 1982. D-beat, crust punk, hardcore, Just really, really good, angry, lo-fi stuff. I'm missing some teeth, so I'm gonna have to hold this. So yeah, if you're here watching this video and you're into punk, you should probably know who Discharge are. Just a very classic crust punk D-beat stuff. This is where D-beat came from, and this is where all those whatever named bands come from, because they all decided to call themselves something. I also need to get their Y EP, I think, and one of their other EPs or demos or something. It's not easy to pick up this stuff, so I'm glad to finally get a copy of this. It started in 1977 from Staffordshire, England. Besides this, they also have 6 other albums and 8 to 9 EPs, not including their live stuff. So they got quite a few stuff, but at some point, I believe after this or the next album, they turned into like glam metal and then thrash metal and just regular heavy metal for a couple albums. I think maybe their most recent one, they came back to crust or something, I'm not sure. But unfortunately, after their first album, they stopped doing this sound right away. I have no idea why. I'm pretty sure I've looked it up before and researched it, because I don't just briefly skim the surface of things. I dive headfirst in and want to know everything about it when I'm into it. But I don't remember why they changed their sound all of a sudden after this album. So if someone wants to quickly remind me in the comment section, that'd be great. This and everything before this, EP and demo-wise, you should probably try and track down if you can. I'm doing the same thing. Again, maybe the Y EP. Really, really good stuff. Not into it at the moment, but when I was into this, damn, this was good. Next is sort of the same thing. These guys started in 1981, another hardcore punk band from the 80s, and this time from Detroit, Michigan. This is Negative Approach with their compilation from 1992 called Total Recall. Recall, recall, recall. No, not that thing with Arnold Schwarzenegger. This band was actually introduced to me from one of the punks and one of the punk groups that I follow. They were doing it in a kind of a sarcastic way, because I'm like, why does everyone have to be so negative? It doesn't have to be negative all the time. And they're like, actually, the negative approach works great, hence this band. I'm like, yeah, very funny. So yeah, I kind of stumbled upon these guys in a really weird way, but honestly, they're fantastic. This compilation is pretty good. There's a lot of like early 7 inches and demos and stuff on here, and some live stuff, but some of the stuff from their like Tied Down album and whatnot is actually a little bit better recorded. Most of it's pretty lo-fi and gritty and raw sounding. So if you're not into the kind of like really screamy lo-fi like gritty stuff, then maybe this isn't your thing. But honestly, if you like Discharge, there should be no reason why you don't like Negative Approach. Really, really good kind of hardcore punk street band with some probably D-beats and crusty stuff in there mixed around, and just the pure raw recording style. Some of the live stuff and earlier demos is very akin to like some of those like raw black metal demos and stuff, like Mutilation and whatever. So if you appreciate the lo-fi kind of angry stuff in your life, this should probably do it too. So yeah, Negative Approach with their Total Recall 1992 compilation pretty much has all of their releases on it, so I don't have to go hunt down every little thing. But if you want to, you can. They have one full-length album, which is Tied Down, and they've got like 2 EPs and 4 demos. If you like that stuff, it's really, really good. All right, last 2 in the list. If you made it this far, give yourself a pat on the back. Consider subscribing, because if you made it this far and you've enjoyed yourself, this is kind of what we do on a bi-monthly or tri-monthly basis if I have time. So yeah, thank you for watching. This next one is The Pissed. They are a anarcho / street punk band from Connecticut, USA, and they started in 1992. This is their Ideas Are Bulletproof album, possibly their debut album. These guys are not really easy to figure out their timeline and everything, because they're not on Wikipedia. There's not a whole bunch of fan information on it out there. I checked their Spirit of Rock thing. I've checked a couple of vlogs to kind of zero in the proper information on these guys, but again, it's not super concise and super accurate. So as far as I'm aware, this is their first album, and they might have one album besides this, but it might also just be a bootleg or a split. I'm not sure. There's the inside here. But besides this, they have 3 or 4 splits and 2 demos. Again, one of them might be an actual album. It's hard to tell. But they do have something else coming, probably early 2024. It was supposed to come out, I think, the end of 2023, but according to their Facebook, there's no really information about it yet, besides the fact that they've announced that it's coming. And it's called The Pist Is Risen. So they've done new material, and they're going to follow up this with some new stuff, so that's cool, and hopefully it's good, and hopefully it's similar to this, maybe more modern production, and maybe we'll see kind of where their heads are at over 25 years later. So yeah, be interesting to see what new music they come up with. I really enjoyed this when I first heard it. Good band, good, it's kind of anarcho street punk from Connecticut, USA. But yeah, check them out, you might enjoy them. All right, the last item of business on here is just collector scum stuff, and I got it because I get everything by this project whenever it comes out. It's sort of like a few bands that I'm kind of super dedicated to: Rob Zombie, Korn, Ozzy, Green Day, Metallica, almost Megadeth at this point too. I almost get everything by. I still need a few things, but this band, whenever they put out something, I just got to get it. And the fact that a member returned that's been gone for a while, yep, had to pick it up. It's the brand new album by Blink-182, One More Time. Nice blue album. And, you know, if you don't like the color blue, you're just wrong. That is not focusing. There we go. There's all the song tracks. There's Mark, Tom, and Travis. This album is okay. It's kind of like a watered down version of Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, with maybe a little bit of their self-titled thrown in there, but they've definitely matured and settled down a bit. They're still having dick jokes and bum jokes and booby jokes in there. They're still kind of have that immature tongue-in-cheek shit going on, and talked about crack. One of the songs called Fuckface, another song's called Edging, so sex jokes. So they still have their kind of tongue-in-cheek humor, at least, being probably almost in their 50s. So I enjoy that. This is their 10th album because they've retroactively said that Buddha is now their first album as opposed to Cheshire Cat. So yeah, this is their 10th album now. They come from California, USA. If you didn't know, they started in 1992, pop punk band. And since this is their 10th album, obviously they have 9 other albums, and they also have 2 EPs. One of which you're never going to get a copy of. I would like to get Dogs Eating Dogs, but I'm never going to get a copy of it, sadly enough. And from what I hear, it's really good. So it would be, you know, it's a shame that we won't be able to ever get it. And I don't know if it's even streaming on YouTube. If it is, cool. I'm going to have to track it down maybe and listen to it. Yeah, it's an okay album by a pretty popular pop punk band that recently got back together. Fans are stoked. Good for them. Glad they were able to put aside their differences and just be like, you know what? Life's too short. Sometimes you just got to suck it up and be the bigger person and do what's best for everyone involved. Anywho, I don't think I really need to show the CD. It's the same cover art. It's the same art as the cover, but here we go. That's what the CD looks like. Pretty basic. Nothing crazy. Let me know if you picked up the new album by Blink-182. I'm probably going to pick up the new album by Green Day called Saviors. I don't know. It's coming out, I believe, in January or February. Probably will pick that up because, again, collector scum, and I'm a Green Day and Blink-182 completionist. So, yep. Last thing on the list here is Blink-182's newest album, One More Time, from 2023. And that's it. That is all of the punk albums that I've required that needed to be showed off from this year. We'll start next year with some new stuff that, again, you're probably not going to be expecting that I've picked up, but I have probably 2 collection updates worth of stuff, maybe 3 by the time I'm done getting stuff for Christmas. So yeah, look forward to that. You're probably not going to like it, but I'm enjoying it right now. Anyway, we have probably maybe 1 more video to do this year after Christmas, and that'll probably be it. And then I'll probably do my horror movies to watch or avoid episode in January and start some new collection updates for next year. Maybe a Christmas haul, if there's anything I feel like you'd find interesting, maybe the first or second week of January. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Until next time, for glory, for the rebellion, Slammerella out. Have a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, or whatever you celebrate. Cheers.